Habits that are holding you back from financial freedom. A lot of us have habits that are holding us back from financial freedom, but I found a video from Ali Abdaal. I don't know if y'all know who he is. He does a lot of productivity help for people, finding time in your day, productivity and self-development, just to help people find time in their day to actually do some self-development. He gives you principles that will actually help you in your life. We're not going to waste too much time. Let's go ahead and get straight into it with Ali Abdaal. Habits holding you back from reaching financial freedom. Let's get it.
All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about 3 bad habits that could potentially be holding you back from getting to financial freedom. Now, if you're new here, hi, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor turned entrepreneur. And for the last 7 years, I've been documenting the journey on this YouTube channel, starting off as a medical student, making videos, helping students study for exams, and eventually building a business to the point where I am financially free. Now, for me, that journey has been very long and very windy, and I've been trying to get to financial freedom for the last 15 years. And it took me maybe 12 years to get to the point of financial freedom. So I'm hoping that by watching this video and the other videos on my channel where we talk about this stuff, you're able to shortcut that process. So we're going to talk about 3 bad habits that are potentially holding you back. But before we do that, let's talk about how should we even think philosophically about what financial freedom is and how do we get there. All right, so what is financial freedom? Well, I really like Professor Scott Galloway's definition, which is financial freedom is when your passive income exceeds your burn rate, i.e. there is more money coming in without you having to do stuff than there is money that you are spending. This means that if you want to be financially free, you've kind of got 2 levers to play with. You can increase the amount of passive income you have coming into your life, or you can decrease the amount of money that you're spending. And ideally, you would do some sort of combination of the 2 things. And you probably won't want to retire and just not do anything, because that gets boring after a while. And then people who retire get depressed and have heart attacks and stuff. But you'll have the freedom and the ability to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. And you will probably realize that you want to do work of some sort, but you'll have the freedom to choose what sort of work you're actually doing. And that's really the true value of financial freedom. So that then sort of begs the question, how do you arrive at this point of financial freedom where you're increasing your passive income and that passive income is greater than your costs? Well, based on this equation, we can basically see that there are 2 levers you can pull. You can decrease your costs or you can increase your passive income. Now, broadly, there are actually 2 paths to this. MJ DeMarco, in his book, The Millionaire Fastlane, which is a good book, says there's the slow lane path and then there is the fast lane path. And even fast lane, for the record, he defines as being about 10 years long. So that's considered fast in this world. So the slow lane path is where you have a job and your job generates income. And then you put that income into savings or into investments or into slowly buying out a property every now and then, or maybe putting it in a stock market index fund like the S&P 500. And eventually you use what's called a 4% rule, which is that let's say you end up having £1 million in the S&P 500, which is a stock market index fund. You can withdraw 4% of that safely every year without touching the principal. So your passive income in that case would be 40K per year. Now, if you can live on less than 40K per year, inflation adjusted, et cetera, now you are financially free because your passive income has exceeded your lifestyle costs. This is the slow lane path. This takes a very long time to get there. And there is an alternative approach. The alternative approach is the fast lane path. And the fast lane path is where you really figure out, can I build some sort of asset or can I build some sort of business? The slow way of getting to financial freedom is by having a job and by saving and investing well and doing that over a very long period of time. The faster way, which still probably takes about 10 years, is to build some sort of asset or to build some sort of business. And so in this video, I really want to focus on this fast lane approach. There are other videos, and we might do one in the future, that is aimed at people where the goal is, you know what, I just want to have a job and I want to put aside 20% of my income into investments, and 20 years from now, I will then be financially free. To me, that doesn't hold much appeal because I don't really want to be financially free when I'm 50. I'd like to be financially free when I'm 30 or 35 or 28 or 25 or 23 or whatever the thing might be. Really, I'd like to be financially free as soon as possible because then I'm able to use my time, which is my most valuable non-renewable resource, on things that I actually want to use my time on rather than necessarily on my day job, which if I was able to design my life however I wanted, chances are I wouldn't do the day job that I'm currently doing. So the goal really is the fast lane approach to financial freedom. How do we build an asset or business that boosts our passive income while keeping our lifestyle costs reasonably low so that we can get to this equation for financial freedom? And so in this video, I want to talk about 3 bad habits that are holding you back from this fast lane approach and hold a lot of people back. The first one.
Before he gets into that, what is financial freedom? We got to start with financial freedom is definitely different for everyone. It can't be all cookie cutter, you feel me? So that's just straight off the jump. For me, I would like to say my financial freedom at this point, I would feel financially free when I don't owe any money, when I'm debt free. I will feel like I've reached a level of financial freedom because I don't owe anyone anything. I could wake up tomorrow and you feel and lose a lot of stuff, but still, because I don't owe anybody anything, I would still be at a better spot than a lot of y'all who are living paycheck to paycheck and you have to pay somebody. That would just be my first level of financial freedom. After that, it would be having so much income that I don't have to depend on somebody else. Having a job to make money. And I would have my own business, maybe some real estate. It's just that I don't have to depend on a job to get money in my day-to-day life. That would be the second step for me. And number 3 would be having all the systems in place and everything's just running without me. That is the highest level, and I do anything that I want to. That would be the highest level of financial freedom for me. And I'm still working on that first step of financial freedom. I'm still working on it. But I think I'll reach there very soon. Soon is relative to what I think, at least before I'm 30. If I reach that goal, I will be happy as all get out. Being able to create some. By 30, I want to be working definitely on step 2. Working on step 2. But financial freedom for everyone is different. And in this example, he decided to say, is passive, having more passive income than your cost is. And that margin, to me, that margin in between would be the financial freedom. And there's a way on both sides that you can turn that the way you have more passive income and you have less cost. So let's continue on with the first point, the first habit that is holding you back from financial freedom.
What's the first one? All right, so let's talk about bad habit number 1. Now, if we understand this equation, we know that the goal is to build some sort of asset that gives us enough passive income such that we can feel financially free. And the way we do this is a skill. It is a skill. It is not luck. Of course, luck is involved, as with everything in life, but the ability to build businesses and assets is a skill. If you were to take all of Elon Musk's money and connections and stuff away, he would probably become financially free fairly quickly because he has the skill of building businesses and assets. I think with me, I have less of a skill of building businesses and assets than Elon Musk does, but I've been trying to make money on the internet and building businesses for about 15 years of my life now. So I would say I have the skill. So if I were to lose all of my money and all my clout and all my fame and my YouTube channel and everything, I suspect within a year, I would probably be able to get to a point of financial freedom because I have the skill of building assets and businesses that I've developed over the last 15 years. Now, given that this is a skill, I think this is one key important thing to keep in mind, that a lot of people who aspire to financial freedom just don't appreciate that the skill of building these assets is a skill. And like all skills, skills can be learned. And so really bad habit number 1 is the habit of ignorance, where you A, don't recognize that it is a skill to build assets and businesses to get to financial freedom. And B, even if you do realize that, you're just not putting in the time to absorb the stuff that will give you a sense of what this map is. But one good financial habit that you can start right now is investing, and you might want to manage it with a service like Trading 212, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. Trading 212.
The habit of ignorance, y'all. That is the biggest. I know that's the biggest thing holding a lot of us back. That's the biggest thing holding a lot of us back is the ignorance. Y'all don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That's the biggest thing holding us back. And you know how I know? Because we did a video probably 2 weeks ago that showed why people in the U.S. have no financial literacy. They don't teach it in schools. Or you didn't learn it in school. They just now started to try to teach it back in schools. but you're not trying to learn it. They didn't teach it in school. Now you at your adult age and you're not even trying to learn it. That's the biggest habit keeping us back. Oh, number one, the habit of ignorance. Ignorant to financial literacy. You don't know. You are without that. But you're not even seeking it. The biggest habit holding you back. So, Steve, how do I figure this stuff out? Well, thanks for asking. Go get a book. It's free in books. Books ain't free. Books ain't free, but it's a lot of it in books. And a lot of the books that I've read were free. I got them on YouTube. Go look up some stuff on YouTube. And as you start down that journey, as you start going down the hole, you will find out more things that you can go learn. Oh, let me go learn something about the Fed system. How's that created? Okay. Now I see where my money comes from and why it's created out of thin air at this point. Why it's not backed up by anything at this point. But if you aren't seeking the knowledge, you will never have it. Habit number one is the habit of ignorance. And you only got that because you're not seeking. Let's begin to seek, y'all.
Description, and that will take you to this page where you'll be guided on how to sign up for an account. Get back to it. So how do you learn about the skill? Well, you carve out time in your day to read books, to listen to audiobooks, to listen to podcasts, to watch YouTube videos about building that skill of building businesses. On my podcast,
you literally just said what I told y'all. You need to go out there and look it up. Start putting in the time for it. That's literally why I started this YouTube. Because I have this, I'm like, if I'm going to be, this YouTube gives me time to talk about it. Which means now I need to start doing some research so that I know what I'm talking about. I'm just not on here rambling all the time. So I picked up a book and said, hey, I'll just document my journey. Why not? Just document the journey. But you have to create some time so that you can start learning this stuff.
For example, there's a bunch of videos I've done with other entrepreneurs where they break down the exact methods they used to grow multi-million-dollar businesses and to become financially free. Similarly, there are a bunch of books. There's $1 Million Weekend by Noah Kagan. There's Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. There's Cody Sanchez has an ebook coming out that's very good. That's Make Epic Money by Ankur Warikoo. Just looking around at my there's .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. There's Anything by Alex Hormozy. There are literally hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of business books out there.
Millions.
Lots of them are on Audible. You can listen to them in audiobook format. How many of those have you read? If you're like most people I speak to about financial freedom, the answer is probably not very many. I'd say maybe about 80% of people don't really read enough or listen enough or watch enough stuff about building the skill
Not
of building
speaking
businesses.
it.
Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, you might like to check out my book, Feel Good Productivity. It's about how to do more of what matters to you in a way that's enjoyable, meaningful, and sustainable. And a big part of this journey to financial freedom is finding the time and energy to actually do the things that will help us on our route to financial freedom. So you can check this out. It's on Kindle, it's on Audible, it's on a hardback. You can listen to it in the car in your spare time. I hope you'll get some value from it. And so at this point, some people might be saying that like, okay, well, it's a skill, but you can't get the skill just from learning about it. And yes, that's true. You cannot just get the skill by just listening and learning and reading and all that kind of stuff. You have to take action as well. But essentially what the learning does is that it gives you a firmware update in your own mind. It lets you see what the map looks like. It's like, imagine you're navigating a forest and the destination you're trying to get to is this destination of financial freedom. But it's like this dark forest and there's a lot of fog and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what the map to that destination looks like. But when you listen to podcasts where entrepreneurs who have made millions of dollars are breaking down exactly the path that they followed, it's like, oh, okay, that's one route to financial freedom. You would listen to another podcast where someone breaks down how they built a ghostwriting agency to get to $1 million a year. You're like, oh, okay, there's another path. You would watch a YouTube video where someone like me talks about how I got to financial freedom through the vehicle of a YouTube channel, and that's another path. And the more you read and listen to and absorb this sort of stuff, the more you'll realize that the pathway from where you are right now to where you want to be, which is probably financial freedom if you're watching this video, you'll realize that, oh, there's all of these different paths to getting there. And then you can decide which of these paths do I want to take action on. You don't need to know what are 100 different paths to get to financial freedom, but it's useful to appreciate maybe like 10. What are 10 different ways where you could theoretically start from where you are right now and get to the goal of financial freedom within a time frame that seems reasonable to you? And you do that by reading, by listening to, by watching stuff. And once you have those 10, at that point, you can move on to habit number 2.
Before habit number 2, y'all, number 1 is literally the ignorance. The ignorance. Read, listen, start to gain that knowledge so that you're not in the same position a year from now. Let's get on that to habit number 2.
Any time frame that seems reasonable to you. And you do that by reading, by listening to, by watching stuff. And once you have those 10, at that point, you can move on to habit number 2, which is we've talked about how you can get a sense of what this map is based on the learning. But bad habit number 2 is where even when you do have a sense of what this map is, you decide to stay exactly where you are and you don't decide to go on this journey. You don't take action. Bad habit number 2 is the habit of inaction. There are a lot of people I know who aspire to financial freedom, who don't do any learning about it at all. But then there's also quite a lot of people who do aspire to financial freedom, but who are stuck in this sort of paradox of just consistently consuming content and never actually taking any action. Maybe you're in that boat. If you're watching this video, maybe you've seen all of my videos about financial freedom. Maybe you've listened to my podcast. Maybe you've read these books that I've mentioned. Maybe you've been watching every video that Alex Hormozi has ever put out. But maybe you haven't actually taken that first step to try to make your first dollar on the internet. Maybe you're not carving out the time to actually take action on the thing. Now, how do you do that? How do you do that if you're busy, if maybe you're a student and you've got stuff to do in the day? Maybe you've got a full-time job, so you have stuff to do during the day. Maybe you're a parent, you've got kids, so you've got stuff to do during the day and like not even during the day. Firstly, it's important to realize that almost
habit number 2 is another big one. He is hitting off the muscle. After you've gotten over the ignorance, so you know, habit number 2 comes in, the habit of inaction. Once you know this stuff, there has to come a time where you stop consuming and start applying. There has to be. I remember I'm reading, y'all. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, I'm consuming so much that I'm not even applying anything that I've learned from these books. And that's when I made that video, stop consuming and start applying. Talking to myself, but hey, anybody can take from that. Anybody can take from it. So what did I do? I started implementing some systems so that I could start implementing those principles that I got from reading into my life. Started creating the systems around it. That way it's just happening on autopilot. Because yeah, I just read create a budget. Yeah, I just read it. But did I create that budget? Do I have a budget? I know that the basic step to get into financial freedom is having a budget so that I can see where my money's going. But I haven't sat down and created a budget yet. I had to stop consuming. What am I consuming for? I haven't even done what I learned in the first one. A lot of them say the same things. A lot of books say a lot of the same things. So let me stop doing all this consuming and actually start applying some of this stuff that I done learned. And once I started applying, I started seeing differences. Once I got over habit 1 of being ignorant and got over habit 2 of not having action, of only consuming and not applying, I started seeing some difference.
Everyone who ends up becoming financially free, very few of them got there by having a completely empty calendar, and they just had swaths and swaths of spare time, and that's how they were able to build that business. Mostly, I've interviewed probably hundreds of people at this point who are financially free. They were all busy. They all had life commitments, family commitments, job commitments, the whole shebang. And they found a way to build this asset or build this business, if they're going down the fast lane approach, in their spare time. So what might this look like? In the case of one of my friends, what he does is that he carves out Monday and Tuesday evening after work every week without fail to work on his YouTube channel and his courses business, because he has decided that YouTube channel plus selling a course is the vehicle that he wants to do to get to financial freedom. If a friend says, hey, do you want to hang out on Monday evening? He's like, nope, sorry, I'm busy that evening. He does Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to hang out with friends, but Monday and Tuesday evening is carved out for work on the YouTube channel and work on the course. Alternatively, you might decide that an hour every morning before work is the amount of time you are carving out to work on your dream of financial freedom. That is the time you are going to spend taking action. It's not the time you're spending learning the skill, because you can learn the skill while doing the laundry, while doing the washing, while commuting to work. You can listen to stuff, you can watch videos in those spare moments throughout the day. But it's those concerted hour-long, at least, blocks of time where you're actually taking action and actually trying to build the thing. So many people aspire to financial freedom. Very few people put in the time. Because if you look at someone's calendar and you see what they spend their time actually doing, for most people who aspire to financial freedom, you'll probably find that the calendar does not reflect this goal of financial freedom. And then finally, we come to bad habit number 3. And this is...
I do like that. I like that with ways that you don't have to be inactive is that you have to sit down and just start. Create some time each week so that you can start doing these things. I was having a conversation today with one of my bros, and he was trying to do some content creation stuff. And I asked him, like, bro, what's your timeline looking like? All this, all that. I felt like he was coming up with a whole bunch of excuses of why he don't have time. When I know, because I looked at the game yesterday, he was on the game, playing the game. I said, man, you could have took an hour of that and did what you needed to do. You have to start a lot of this stuff. And when you just start, a lot of it will lay itself out. Just start by setting some time each week where you do this thing. I know, I'm not going to say now because I do a lot of traveling, but when I was in Sweden, I knew exactly what day, what time I'm going to do this show every single week while I was in Sweden. And I'll even go even further because the way Hartfelt Conversations is set up, shameless plug, go follow, subscribe, like some stuff on there, go comment on there. Hartfelt Conversations. We going live tomorrow, Thursday at 8 p.m. I record Hartfelt Conversations every week now for 27 weeks straight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. No matter where I'm at in the world. Because the way it's set up and I have people coming in to record with me on that podcast every week now, whether we're going live or we're just recording, so that I can post it on Friday. If I'm just recording, I'm post on Friday. But when we record that video, whether we're going live or not, 8 p.m. Eastern Time every single week, like clockwork. We know every single week that's when we're going to do that because we have it in our calendar. Y'all know how many times people go out on Thursday to hang out? Steve, you want to come? No, I can't. I got something to do that I do every single week. It's in my calendar. That's one way to fight your being inactive, is to put it in your calendar. And then you have to really just start on a lot of y'all stuff. A lot of y'all, you're inactive because you ain't start. You too scared to start. You know, did all this research on having a YouTube, but you ain't did nothing. You ain't started applying because you ain't just started. Now let's continue.
And then finally, we come to bad habit number 3. And this is a habit that I like to call environmental inertia. Inertia is sort of where you just let things happen as they're already happening. You're sort of operating with the default mode. Now, we've talked about how an important habit in getting to financial freedom is learning the skills and appreciating what the map looks like. We've talked about taking action. But there's a third aspect, which is intentionally designing your environment so that you're able to come into contact with people and with inspiration that will help you out on your journey. You know, one of the easiest ways to get to financial freedom, or rather to speed up your process in getting to financial freedom, is to surround yourself with people who are also on that journey. Now, these people might be exactly where you are on that journey. They might be a couple of steps in front of you. They might be a couple of steps behind you. But if you have friends, colleagues, relatives, a network, if you have people around you who are also on the journey to financial freedom, you're all more likely to make it because you all benefit from this compounding effect of the people that we have around us. People around us give us a lot of energy. It means that when motivation dips, which it always does on this journey to financial freedom, it's not really a straight line. It's more like a sine wave where motivation waxes and wanes. In those moments where you're feeling down, where your business isn't working, you just got rejected from a sales call that you did, your YouTube video absolutely flopped, no one bought your course, all of that stuff, you have people around you who understand They get the journey that you're on. If all of the friends that you have are people who have normal jobs and who do not aspire to financial freedom, chances are you will find it very difficult to go on that journey on your own. It is a lot easier to go on that journey when you're with other people. So environmental inertia is when you're not putting any effort into designing your environment. You're not putting any effort into going to events for aimed at entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. You're not putting any effort into going to classes. You're not putting any effort into going to meetups. You're not putting in any effort to reach out to people in your local area through Twitter or Instagram who you might be able to send a cold message to. Be like, hey, you're an entrepreneur. I am as well. I've checked out what you're doing. Would you like to grab coffee or lunch sometime? Creating this network of other entrepreneurs, other people trying to build assets and businesses on this fast lane to financial freedom, I think is one of the biggest things you can do to massively shortcut your process of getting there and to ensure that you don't allow the dips in motivation to completely stall your progress on this journey. Now, if you vibed with this video,
hey, I have a pretty good story, I think, when it comes to that. When I started on my journey, I literally had nobody in my close groups at all that was talking about any of this stuff, like at all. Didn't care about it. But it's like when I started and I started talking about it, I had someone who I was following, and it was a she. Like she was like on the same stuff, so she was talking about it, and we just would every now and then have conversations about what's going on, and different things that had to go in the financial space. And I would say that definitely kept me going a lot of times. Okay, yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have people who are doing the same thing with you. And one thing that I know it is Steve in the gym. That's why I got a little belly right now. When I was looking my best, I had people around me who were actually going to the gym with me. Like I actually had a gym partner that was going with me. And I've done this multiple occasions. When I was in wrestling, I'm wrestling with people, going with people. When I was in college, I had a pro fight. He was a trainer, used to train me. So I'm going to the gym with him all the time. When I got out of college and I'm at home, my brother, he came back. He was in the gym and I was going with one of my partners. We was all going at the same time. But every time those groups had something going on, I was not in the gym anymore. And of course, I can't blame other people, but having that environment that helps of people who are in your corner that helps motivate you, it definitely makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. So having that as the third one, the habit of your environment, Abdaal, Ali, you did your thing on this list. You did your thing. Just, I'm not even going to say just with the first, all three of them, you did your thing. The first one, the ignorance. People don't even know about financial literacy. They have no idea. They have no interest in learning. And then after they've learned, the second one is inaction. You need to stop consuming and start applying. You need to start applying these principles into your life. And then the third one is the environment that you're in, having people on your side 100% makes a difference. 100% makes a difference. So I definitely want to say thank you, Ali, for that. You did your thing, man. You did your thing. And with that, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment